8 minutes we got left before we chat. Grab your coffee, find your seat. Cowbells are ringing, that's our cue. Gonna share our thoughts with you. Laugh and gossip, spit in tea. Little secrets between you and me. Countdown ticking, let's get real. Heart to heart, it's how we feel. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all those tears. Snap a pic of what we wear. Brush our hair, let down our care. Conversations never lie in this moment with you and I. Clock is ticking, here we go. Words like rivers start to flow. Tune your ears and hear the beat. Girl talks makes our time so sweet. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all our tears. Clock is ticking, here we go. Words like rivers start to flow. Tune your ears and hear the beat. Girl talks makes our time so sweet. Girl talks in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Girl talks, wiping all our tears.
Morning, y'all. It's 5 minutes and 30 seconds before Girl Talk starts, so you have just enough time to grab yourself a cup of coffee and get in a comfy seat. We'll see you soon.
Catch Girl Talks every day. Follow socials, here's the way.
GURLTAUX, every platform come to play. Catch our vibe, don't delay.
Facebook, YouTube streams. Scrolling through your daily memes. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. Keeping it real, it's what we do. So tune in now and join our crew. Lights moving through the screen. Click subscribe, don't be mean. Upbeat chatter, it's our routine. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Girl Talks can be seen. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. Update stories, laugh and cry. It's Girl Talk, so don't question why. It's the show that you'll adore. Come back daily to get some more. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Girl Talks can be seen. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX, log in now, watch our show. Likes and comments, let them flow. Every day we're on our way. Girl Talk walking down this road tonight, talking about the things we fight. Addiction knocking at my door. E&T wants so much more. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, together we'll move along. Searching for a brighter day, holding tight along the way. Sobriety's a steep climb, D&T winning every time. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along.
It said no. It's not going to be added to the scene. So hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
How was your
Good.
day?
It was long, but it was good Tuesday. Nice and sunny today.
Yeah,
It's
it
nice and
was. It
sunny.
was. The dogs went outside and just like wanted to just sun themselves out
Yep.
there. They wanted to stay out as much as possible, and I was like, "Oh, you guys are loving this." And I said, "But if I leave you out here for too long, you're going to go jump into the cows, because the cows are probably loving it too."
Yes.
But Jethro would be like, "Hey, let's go play with the cows," and Charlotte would be like, "Right on! I can't wait to roll in their poop." So with
And
that,
then
I
come back and share it with you.
yeah, with that, I have to shut that shit down. Like, no. So I will tell you, I rewatched, and you're gonna have to be my swear police, because apparently you don't, and this is me policing myself, but I don't know that every other word needs to be the F word.
Hmm.
Steve asked because he
I've
saw
not
my
ever
shirt.
contemplated that
'Cause
before.
I know, right? Because like it is every other word to me. Like, what am I supposed to say now?
With a challenge? What?
Like, this is actually supposed to be my I don't even know the word for it, but like obviously I don't want to be super like just saying it all the time.
Right.
But I kind of do. And Steve walked in and he read my shirt and it says I run on coffee, chaos, and cuss words. And he's like, so which is your favorite cuss word? And I said, apparently F. And I said, and I think my second favorite one is bullshit. Because like I'm constantly saying that's bullshit. I could play that game really well. Bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. What about you?
That's
What's
so
your
good.
favorite word?
It's probably not appropriate to say.
No, say it. Nothing's off limits here. You say what your favorite word is.
Well, if I'm really, really like intense, then well, twat waffle.
I
is
love
really,
twat waffle.
I mean,
I love twat waffle. Well, I grew up in
or-
Europe, so twat to me is not a
it's
bad
not-
word, really.
right.
But
But
to
douche
some people here,
well, douche canoe is really a good one, but that's like for like minor infractions. But if you've really fucked up, you're a twat yacht.
you move from a canoe to
To
a
a
yacht.
yacht.
I like that. See, but I like that when you add that added little thing, it kind of makes it a little more fun. Like, you know,
Yeah.
w-
Like if I call somebody a douche canoe, they did, something small, still crappy, but it was small.
but they're also trying to
But-
figure out what a douche canoe is. You know, I mean, they're probably going,
What?
I know what a douche is, but what's a douche canoe? Like, so,
Right.
because the first time I ever heard you say that, I did that.
Oh.
I went like, what's a douche canoe? I mean, is that like somebody who's just got a really fat vagina and they need a whole canoe in there? Like, what does this mean?
I don't know, really.
It just came
You
out
can
one
kind of
day.
mean whatever you want it to
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
A lot of people use it and say it, but
So I
one
ha-
day I was really, really upset about something, and it just douche canoe just wasn't enough to just get that point across. So I
Okay.
graduated into a twat yacht.
A twat yacht. That's for that really big one. Well, I mean, like, so I'm not offended by really much of anything. So
Me
it's really
neither.
hard for me to get offended. So even when somebody goes, oh, and they said the C word, and I'm like, there is a way you can protect yourself from saying that word if you don't want to offend.
Oh, right.
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then they can figure out what that meant. Spell it out slowly. But it's like my grandpa. My grandmother was an extremely religious woman, very religious, and followed
Mhm.
to the T. Did not wear jewelry, did not wear makeup,
Oh wow.
never
Okay.
swore, never drank, never smoked. I mean, like, yeah, it makes that song come to life for me, Adamant. But she was also not naive. I will
Okay.
tell you that. She's given some really good advice. I'll give you one of her advices here in a second because it's kind of funny. But my grandfather, she was all, so that means she wasn't quite a prude. Like she knew what people do and she did too,
Mhm.
but there was a way to do it. And, but she also is very English. Like she was very English.
Okay.
So she didn't really understand humor. You tell her a joke like next Tuesday, she will be laughing because she finally got it, So he would tell her, look down your shirt and spell attic. ATTIC. What? I don't understand. Read it faster. ATTIC. I don't understand. Say it slower
Yes.
and fast at the same ATT. Oh, John, or Jack, because his name was John, but they called him Jack. I don't
Isn't
understand what that
funny?
whole
My
thing is
grandfather
from
too.
there.
Yeah, his
from the-
name was John, but everybody called him Jack, and I'm
Like-
like, how does that translate?
Like I understand John to Johnny
Mhm.
or Tim to Timmy,
Yeah,
Timothy, Tom, Thomas, but how does John turn into
become
Jack?
Yeah, That's I've never gotten that part either.
Well, I do
but-
understand from a person that I talked to many years ago, told me a big reason why a lot of Johns back in that decade or that era, ooh, I got a chill, stopped wanting to be called John is because that had become the nickname for a bathroom. And it had also
okay.
become the nickname for a prostitute's
yeah.
caller or whatever her
Yeah.
her
Her
customer
Mhm.
became called a John.
Yeah.
So Johns kind of didn't like their name being called John.
Mhm.
So but I don't know how they went to Jack.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I could see Jay before Jack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Joe.
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 I mean, there's a lot of things that could be said to that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I find it to be amusing that I mean, our topic today is like current affairs, kind of what's going on, but the unhingedness of it, how people are reacting to all these different things. I am gonna try to share a screen and share the audio. I don't know if it's gonna come across or not, but we are gonna try once again to air something. So I hope that anyone is listening so that they can share with us whether or not they can hear when I play this scene real quick. But anyway, prior to me playing this scene, while I'm pulling this up, you want to talk real quick about what the meeting that Trump had with the French president or the new deputy of the FBI, deputy assistant deputy, or any of those things, because that's
Yes.
or Joy Reid being fired, because that's what I'm pulling up. Because I am
So with Joy Reid, oh my goodness.
I'm
lo-
kind of in the same
Officer
boat
Tatum,
as
I love.
Oh,
the
I do
Officer
too.
Tatum, and I watched earlier, or maybe it was last evening, but he literally called her a milk dud with a wig.
he did, and I have to say I love some of the stuff that he says, because he can call people out in ways that others can't.
Yeah,
And
that's true. But oh gosh,
but
he
I also
was-
stand behind Megyn Kelly on what she said. Is she's like, I'm kind of sad about it because she gave us so much content. Now what am I gonna do? Like, I really hope she gets her own show. But like Don Lemon tried to get his own show and it went. You know, I mean, like, we have a new show and we're starting,
right.
but nobody knows who the F we are to
Right,
begin with.
right.
So for it to have like no viewers is not a big deal.
Sure.
And we're going to
Sure.
gain the viewers.
Sure.
But for somebody who came from like a major news network where he supposedly is miraculous and everybody loves me, and, you know, one of his, did you see that first content he did when he went out on the street to ask people who they were voting for?
No.
He went out as Don Lemon when
Are you
after he left
serious?
on the street with his microphone, and he was going, and I can't remember where he's at, so I'm not going to state where he was at, but it was a very liberal location. I'm just going to say that. And he went up and he started asking, who are you voting for? And like 90% of the people he asked were like, well, Trump. And then totally, he had to search, and because he did it trying to gain the movement and gain the followers, he did do it live. So like he couldn't edit out all the Trump ones until he was like, we're going to go somewhere else. And it was a very liberal community. So anyway, go
But
on
yeah,
about
no. Well, with
Reid.
her losing her show, I mean, that's like boo-hoo. There more of them should lose their positions on shows, but with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, wow. Like, wow,
That
man.
is an absolute wow.
When I heard about Dan Bongino coming on, I literally like squealed out loud. I was like, ah!
Well, you know what?
Really? This is so perfect.
It's so funny because when before Trump was officially elected and he was starting to name actually right after he was officially elected and he started naming the people he was going to put in place,
Mhm.
I had several people ask me, do you think they're going to put Dan Bongino in head of Secret Service, or do you think they're going to put Dan Bongino in Department of Defense? Or, and I said, I don't think so. Like, I think Dan Bongino has kind of said, because on several
Yeah.
of his, he said, I'm not looking for one. I haven't been asked, and I'm not going to ask for
Mhm.
one. And he's making millions of dollars now with
Yes.
his network.
Yes.
So I kind of perceived it that he's not going to go down that road, because why would you give up $1 million a month? He's probably making $1 million a month.
Oh, easy.
I mean,
yeah.
he's making a lot
is.
of money. He's
Mhm.
got Rumble and he's got other shows running, and
Mhm.
his show, I mean, I watched his show yesterday and there were like 250,000 people watching.
Jeez.
Yeah. 250,000 people were watching.
Wow. Wow.
So with those kind of
Okay.
numbers, he can pretty much do
Mhm.
whatever he wants. And so I thought, there's no way he's going to leave that for a GS job.
Yeah. I didn't think so
You know,
either.
because that's like a $900,000 pay cut a year minimum. And you cannot do this. And, you cannot,
Right.
like, if my husband comes on,
Mhm.
I have to talk about bullshit.
Yeah.
I cannot talk politics if my husband's on
Gotcha.
at all. We have to talk about chickens or
Mhm.
working on the shop or
Mhm.
whatever, but we cannot talk politics because he can't do that.
Right.
And I totally respect that, and I wouldn't do that. But he has to be a nonpartisan. So he can't run an opinionated talk show, which his is an opinionated. Ours is an opinionated talk show, but you can't do that and
Yes.
work for the federal government,
Yes.
not in a law enforcement capacity,
Right.
which the assistant
Well-
deputy FBI, and who better than those two? And it's not about
Yes.
retribution. Okay. I guess the light decided to come on its own. But it's not about either that or Steve saw that it wasn't on and turned it on
Oh,
from
it
his
may have
phone.
been.
But it's not about retribution. It's about, if you committed an offense and there's evidence of it, then they should be pursued in a legal format, not making shit up to go after your political enemy. That is a
Absolutely.
different way of, that's a different animal in itself.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
Yes.
let's see. I would probably get busted if I play gut feel because of copyright.
Yeah.
But let's do this one and let's see if you can hear it. I don't. So I'm going to play this for 1 second, and I hope that someone can hear me. Steve, can you let me know if you're listening? Because it's saying it. It's saying it was on, but I don't know if you can hear it on the actual show, because the other day when I played whatever it was I played from YouTube, it didn't do anything. Not on our show. So I'm going to pop that on real quick just so I can. Yep, it did not. I don't know. My husband has to fix something so that this stupid thing will work on my actual outputting. Oh, that's probably why. Okay, let me see if that works now. I don't know. I don't want to put it on the screen with the video until. Okay, now let's see. I hate this. It's irritating.
Well, the tech support is on vacation.
Apparently.
So, well, no, they just called in
Oh.
on YouTube.
I don't know. I don't want to put it on the screen with the video. Okay, now let's see. Nope, it still isn't working. So I'm gonna have to have him
Okay.
mess with something to figure out why, because it's showing on my board like it has the sound showing.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm still playing this apparently. Stop. um, sorry about that. So we can't really air it, but we will talk about it. So Joy Reid, and if you don't know who Joy Reid is, one, you're living under a rock. You're definitely not part of the MAGA community if you don't know who she is, because she bashes on all of us constantly. She is one of the most extreme, in my opinion, racist people out there.
Absolutely. Yep.
1,000% of what she said, if a white person said it, they'd not only be fired, but they'd probably be in jail.
Yeah.
Because it would 90% of her stuff is hate crime related, because she even calls for violence against white people and has quite a few times. So now I've been saying that her and a number of other people were going to get fired a long time ago. And every time they didn't, I'd be like, that's definitely going to cancel. I mean, they canceled Roseanne because she called somebody a cast member from the movie Planet of the Apes, which, by the way, was one of my favorite childhood TV shows. Like, I met them in Sacramento. They all came.
Oh, cool.
And the whole cast was there. And I ran up and jumped in. What was the lead guy's name? I can't remember now. But anyway, I jumped right on him, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm holding you." And my brother hid behind my mother's leg. And the guy afterward was like, "I've never had a kid this age like not be a little bit intimidated or afraid of us." I loved Planet of the Apes. I absolutely loved it.
It was
And
a cool show.
it was a very cool show.
Yeah, it was.
And so I absolutely loved the show. And I watched every one of them. And I've watched the other ones. I have the movie. I have the main movie. I should go back and watch the TV show, find it and watch it. But anyway, I just loved them. So Cornelius, that was his name. But she mentioned that she looked like the wife character on Planet of the Apes. And she took it super personal because that was racist because I'm black. And I don't know about you, but I didn't know the woman was black before we found out she was black, because she doesn't look black. She did look like the character, facial structure and whatnot. But I didn't take it as a racial slur. I took it as a facial slur. It wasn't a racial slur. It was a facial slur.
I love that.
It's not a slap. It's a flap. But I didn't take, and she got straight canceled and deported. like I mean, she had to pack up her shit, and she went to Hawaii, and she just pretty much stayed there, became a recluse, and had a lot of mental problems because of how she was treated by cast members that she thought she had a long lasting good relationships with, that could have stood up for her because they knew her personality. They knew she wasn't racist. And she had mental issues of her own. So, of course, she was dealing with that, and she was on sleep medication or whatever, which is a known fact, people. If you don't know this and you're not aware of the fact that if you take sleeping pills, it makes you do some weird shit and you don't remember doing it. So you might not remember, and this didn't happen to me, but it happened to somebody I knew. But you won't remember that you took it and then drank a glass of wine later and then said, I think I want McDonald's, and got in your car and drove to McDonald's and then rolled your car on black ice. Yeah, that happened. But you don't know because you don't remember you took it. And you're like, but I only had one glass of wine. Like, and I if I recall correctly, I don't think she even remembered having the one glass of wine either.
Oh, wow.
But it exacerbates the content of that drug. So please don't. You take Ambien, and it was Ambien. You take Ambien, you go the fuck to bed.
Yeah, you go lay down or get in bed and then take it.
Yeah,
And then,
right.
like-
You should not be up and moving around when you take it because
no.
you can be held responsible for your actions,
Yes, absolutely.
regardless of the fact of whether you know what your actions are or not.
Absolutely.
So, Dan Bongino being in charge with Cash Patel, because they're going to work together. And Joy Reid being fired. Oh my God, I am literally just loving that, and I am trying to find where the hell are, Oh, apparently we're still on.
Okay.
It just decided to go away somewhere.
Yeah, that was so
I'm like,
wild.
well, I'm trying to find where the here we go. Finally, it got the comments. So he said nope. He said that's called smooth, LOL. I don't know what that part was about. I don't know. Logan says, look at those two strong womens. I hope you were intentionally saying womens. Jam out with your clams out. It's called proper. Tech support is on vacation today. I don't see where that's did you put in for vacation time? Because I don't recall getting.
That's why I said they just called in.
Yeah.
On YouTube in the comments.
I don't recall getting that that notification. Why is this thing not, and my scroll does not want to work. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reset it because it doesn't want to work. So we'll see if it'll reset itself. It decided it's not going to work. So do you want to do Dear Margaret now, or do you want to, or do you want to wait? We did it at the end last time. Do you want to do it now? And then we can just use that as part of continue talking about these things. Okay.
Because
Let's do that.
Okay. That'll work.
All right. So this one, and for whatever reason, it does not want to work. It's failed. Okay. I'm going to have to control it from the computer because for whatever reason, this thing doesn't want to work. So I'm going to be irritated for a minute. Anyway, I have it. So we are working on, I have kind of put a video together to put on before we do our Dear Margaret. But since they can't hear anything, I will put it the rest of the way together and then I will upload it onto here. And then, because we're going to kind of use that every time.
Yes.
So I will do that. I promise you. It's just going to take a second. I'm sorry. Just give me a second. Okay. So this one is Dear Margaret. There have been several instances when a colleague has offered unsolicited advice addressing personal characteristics and giving labels to my possible ailments. I am pissed off, but I don't want to cause problems at work. What should I do? Signed, unsolicited. So, you want to take the lead on that one?
Several instances of unsolicited advice about personal
characteristics and possible diagnosis of ailments. Like, so I'm assuming that means like diagnosing a disability or something, or diagnosing like you're autistic, or
Okay.
your ADHD, or your obsessive
Right.
compulsive or something like that,
Right.
you know, because she didn't add like what.
I gotcha. So if you're in a work environment or a work situation, then personal things shouldn't enter into that
Right.
realm. And
Well, I think even in a personal level, unsolicited advice, in my opinion, is just that. It's unsolicited. I didn't ask you for your advice. I didn't ask you for your help. I don't know that it's constructive done that way. Now, if I ask you for help, it's obviously not unsolicited, but now I guess it depends if you have a close enough friendship with somebody, and I don't consider that really unsolicited advice in the same realm. Like, I would even be offended if it was a personal friend, if they were attacking my character, or they were like trying to diagnose something that's
Sure,
wrong with
sure.
me when they're not a clinical psychologist.
Sure.
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Mhm.
I haven't gone and done a test to see. You're just, you know, now if I said, dude, I have ADHD and I can't stay on task and I forget, you know, you saying, hey, I think your ADHD is showing, I think I would see that totally different than unsolicited.
For sure. For
Like,
sure.
I've already acknowledged that I have, or think I have, or display
Right.
those characteristics,
Right.
and I've shared that with that person, even a colleague. I
Mhm.
wouldn't necessarily be offended if I was like supposed to be taking notes in the middle of a meeting or something,
Mhm.
and I started filing my nail. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. But if
Yeah.
I was doing something else and they're like, your ADHD is showing.
You might want to
can you-"
tuck that ADD back in.
Yeah, could you maybe pick up the pen and start doing the notes again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That yeah.
Or hey, are you coming back? Like, hey, are you coming back to the meeting? Like, you were sent to go get highlighters. You know, what are you doing? Where are you at? Did your ADHD
she
stop
kick
you?
in? Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I would find it humorous if they meant it in a humorous way.
Sure.
And if everybody knew that, though, like if it had been an ongoing conversation in the office workplace where everyone has heard me or everyone has referenced, and you get to know the person's personality too. Like, if somebody's super easily offended, I'm probably not going to say that. But if they've said it to everyone, dude, I have ADHD, or oh shit, squirrel, ADHD. You know, if they've said those things, they've opened the door.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I would think.
Yeah. I same. But if it's something where like that's not, how am I trying to word this? Like, but say it's hard because I'm the devil's advocate in a way, because I offer unsolicited advice sometimes. However, I'm cautious about it. It's only in situations where like it can be detrimental to a bigger situation or a bigger picture. But if it's something like this, I mean, somebody's personally passing judgment on somebody else.
Right, because it almost feels like an attack at that point. Like,
Right.
what was your reason?
Yeah,
And
what
I think
is your-
that's what I would be thinking is like, what
Why
was
are
your
you-
reason behind telling me this?
Mhm.
Was it to be controlling? Was it to be assertive? Was it to be show that you're, something that you're not or whatever?
Was
So I
it-
think sometimes you do have to take into account what their message behind it was. But where I draw the line is when this person also gave basically a diagnosis type of thing of somebody's possible ailment.
Mm.
Now that if she hasn't, and she says possible ailment, so she didn't clarify. And by the way, we got these from people that are in groups that I belong to, and I just said, hey, send me a question if you were writing to Dear Abby, because I need these for my show, because we're starting a segment called Dear Margaret. And so that's where the questions are coming from, because we don't have quite enough viewers yet to have people writing in. But please,
One day.
if you have a Dear Margaret question, send it in to us. So I guess I would need a little bit more information to give a full answer.
There's not a lot there to.
But if they don't have, or they didn't know that they have this possible ailment, it's never been talked about at work, and it's fully 100% unsolicited. And I would also say, did they talk to you privately? Did they take you aside privately to discuss this with you? Did they do it in front of other people? Because if it was in front of other people, I would have a different response to that, because if it was in front of other people, then that was meant to embarrass you. If it hasn't already been talked about. If they're your supervisor. Now she said colleague, but sometimes people will say colleague when it was their boss.
Mm-hmm.
So possibly the boss could have said something like, hey, maybe you have signs of this because I have a child who has this, or I have a parent who has this, or I have a brother that has this, and I see your signs are very similar. These are things that he does to help himself. So sometimes I think you have to evaluate the advice. Of course, it's very easy to go through those stages of getting pissed off because somebody said something to you, but then evaluate it and maybe take the good out of it that you need and throw out the rest, or ignore it, or say, thank you, I appreciate that,
It's hard for me because like I said, I will offer unsolicited advice, but it's in a different, like, to give an example, and this is a real recent situation, and it has everything to do with business. But I had seen on social media where someone had opened up locally a new place, and they were marketing themselves by saying that they've been doing dog grooming for X amount of time. And during that time, they have seen so many people taken advantage of by the other groomers that are charging too much money for their services. I didn't go seeking this out. I was scrolling on social media, saw that. It's in my local area. I took it on a somewhat personal level because I'm in this area. I've been in business for 10 years. You just showed up on scene and tried to put it out there that the people that are already established in this same business are taking advantage of people. So you're going to swoop on in and slash prices in half, causing hardship on the other business owners that are already doing this work. So I decided to put my 2 cents in there. Nothing personal towards the person, but it was, you shouldn't market yourself this way. People have made much investment in their career and in their education and have vast amounts of experience and years and blah, blah, blah. You can't just go in there and undermine what's happening. So instead of that being taken at face value, it turned into a witch hunt against me. And citizens were brought into the mix, and I was bashed, and I was called everything from a devil. And these are all good church-going people.
Well, yeah.
Because they said so. Oh,
Right.
well, that person, they're just or whatever. I mean, I was called all kinds of. It said I was called crazy, batshit crazy. I didn't know what I was talking about. I don't know who I think I am. I mean, it was just insane.
Well,
They went to Google and left fake reviews on my business Google. I mean, it turned into this craziness, right? When all I was doing is, I mean, yeah, I guess in a way I was gatekeeping, right?
Right.
But I also felt like you're not going to come into my territory that I've worked hard to change the face of my industry, which is a personal service. You don't come in and just be like, oh, well, all these people have been taking advantage because they charge so much. Well, if you see my wall of paper, that's why I charge so much.
Right.
I don't know what Susie Q down the lane's charging,
Right.
but I know
Well, in
my
your
worth.
history too, like
And
who you have groomed.
Well, sure.
And I hope that's on that wall.
Oh, there's newspaper articles and all kinds
but quality has value.
Well, true. And so but my point in all that is that I gave unsolicited advice, and it was snarky. I mean, it was a little, you know me, I'm snarky. I'm just that way, but I'm just abrasive, and especially when it comes to something so personal like that. But I didn't tell this girl that she was stupid, but she flipped it around. When had posted on I mean, she made an entire post off of my comment. She made an entire post on her business page. Look at this woman's harassing me, and I don't even know why. She's just mad because I'm not charging the crazy prices she is, and I just think all the dogs need to be cared for, even if you can't afford it. And it was like this soupy, sappy, pick-me bullshit. And I'm a team player.
Right.
I want to know the other groomers and pet care providers in the area, so we could maybe collaborate on some level. Like, I'm ready to go have a hip replaced, and I don't have anybody that I feel comfortable enough sending my clients to, so I continue to drag myself around every day and work.
Right.
There's no one that can match me, and I'm not saying that to be egotistical either, but
you have also been doing this for 30 years. You've been in business 40 years.
40 years.
You've
been in business here 10.
Right. So, but you've been doing this industry, and it started
40.
in LA.
Yes.
So you've been doing this same work for over 30 years. And with that comes knowledge, skills, and abilities. And quality has a price. Quality has a value. Now, I am going to argue with you a second on this. I'm going to disagree with you. I do not think that was unsolicited advice when it comes to the internet. I am going to look at that slightly different than somebody in an office space where we work together. And I didn't post a comment like, hey, I'm doing X, and you have the ability to come in and comment. We're working together, and you just say, on lunch break out having your cigarette or whatever, hey, by the way, I think you have
BPD with a smidge
of OCD,
with
a little sprinkle of ADHD on top. I think that's a different scenario than somebody who posts something online, because anything you post online, I mean, my favorite thing to do is get a box of popcorn and go read the comments because you can be entertained for hours on people's comments.
For sure.
And there's going to be both sides of those comments, some that would probably defend you, as well as others that would go after you. Some that would defend her, and others that would go after her. So I think you're setting yourself up already for the unsolicited advice when you want to promote your business and you start out the gate by belittling the people in the same industry as you are and you're new here. I would find that to be very insulting, and it's also a underhanded way of trying to get clients.
Absolutely.
Like a hair salon that's brand new to an area, and you have established hair salons, and they go, bitches be cutting your hair bad and they overcharge. So if you come to me, like, I'm brand new here, but I'll take good care of your hair and I'll charge you half the price. Well, I'm going to say I have
bullshit.
bullshit. And I have succumbed to that kind of advertising before, not literally said in those terms.
For sure.
And then when I left, I was like, I'm going back to the one that double charges because my hair doesn't look like shit.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
And I mean, literally that happened. I got a better price at a salon, and it wasn't from necessarily somebody with unsolicited stuff, but I was somewhere in a store or something, and I was talking about going to get my hair did, because I have to dye it and stuff, and I was talking about it, and I think I was talking to my husband or one of my daughters, and I said, you know, I need to get my hair dyed so that when I go, it was before I went on my cruise with my mom, because I didn't want to go on the cruise with my mom with gray hair.
Okay.
And the person was in line, and she's like, well, where do you normally go? And I'm like, why? Like, I don't like those kind of questions. Like, because do you know them and you're going to bash them? Like, what's your reason for wanting to know where I go? And I said, why do you have a salon? And she's like, well, I'm a hairdresser and I'm new here. And I do need to build up my clientele. And she told me where her salon was that she works at. She has a part of her own booth in there, which is what most of them do. And I said, well, how much do you charge? And she's like, well, where were you going to go? And I said, well, I don't feel comfortable telling you the name of the salon that I go to. And she goes, well, do you mind telling me how much they charge? And I did tell her how much they charged before she gave me her price. And she gave me a price of half of the amount that they charge. And I mean, it was going to cost me like $300 at the salon I go to. And because I like them to dye it red, and then I want blonde and other colored highlights throughout my hair so it looks more natural. And because I'm a natural redhead, but I'm now a natural grayhead.
Right.
It's the way it goes. So like any color in my hair now is fake because if I let it grow, it will just be gray now.
Wow.
And shut up. That's my glasses talking.
Oh.
It's telling me they're going dead. So I just turned them off. So I went ahead and I booked with her, and I went and had my hair done there. What I failed to apparently tell her and I took my hat off and then I put it back on. But what I failed to apparently tell her while dyeing the hair, that I would appreciate if you dyed all of their like, I did not want this ring around, and it was literally a ring around the whole top of my hair, all the way around, no color. So I had like this gray outline of my.
It was your silver lining.
Is that the silver lining? Well, shit, where were you when I got that? Because I thought, what the fuck is with my hair? I'm like, don't we all normally go in and we're like, can you get the roots? Except for these ones.
Yeah. Never mind that little thin strip.
I don't, and it wasn't even thin. It was like 2 finger width all
No.
the way around.
Oh my god.
All the way around to the wispies by your ears. And I mean, when I dye my hair myself, and I'm just going to say it, last time I dyed it myself. Dyed it right before I went to
Oh
DC
my
for the
gosh.
inauguration. And
That's so funny.
I dyed it myself out of a box. And I got all the
All the-
wispies, even under here, and the eyebrows, like the
Oh,
whole thing.
man.
And I paid like $7.
Right.
So I'm just gonna say,
That's good shit.
my quality was still better. And when I complained about it, she kicked me out of the place and
Oh
got
my
really pissed off.
gosh.
Like, got so mad at me, like, you can fucking leave. You need to pay me and you need to leave. And
Wow.
I was so pissed off because one, and all I did was point out, because when she got done, she's like, okay, you're done. I'm like, whenever I get my hair dyed, like part of the process of the hair dyeing, I've never had to pay extra to have them blow dry my hair and,
Yeah.
like
and style it.
style it because you're getting like a whole service when you do a
Yes.
hair dye thing.
Yes. Yes.
And she wanted me to pay extra to blow it.
No way.
She wanted me to just basically leave with it towel dried. And I was like, you're not going to blow dry it? And she's like, well, that would be extra. And I'm like, how much? $30. And I'm like, well, I normally, like, I almost every time I get a hair dye situation where I go in the salon and I get my hair done, Steve and I go out to dinner. Like every time.
Mhm.
I come home, I get changed nice.
Same.
We go
Yeah.
out to dinner because, like, my hair ain't
You
gonna
don't
look
want to
like
waste
that.
that shit. Like, girl, I'm not sleeping on this $300 fucking dye job unless we go eat,
Yeah,
go play some video games somewhere, do some golf. I don't care.
I don't care what we're doing,
not
but we're
wasting
doing
this
something.
shit.
I am not gonna look this good for another like 6 months. So you're taking me out, and that's
so
just.
true.
I mean, it is.
It is. It is.
And I was like,
That's so
well,
funny.
I every time I've ever had my hair dyed, like they always blow dry it and style it
Always.
so that one, I see how it looks done.
Yes.
Because dye looks differently
When
when
it's
wet,
wet.
versus when dry. And so she wanted $30 more for blow drying it and another $20. So she wanted another $50 to style it, to blow dry it and style it.
Gosh.
And I was like, okay, I mean, technically that's still less than what the other one wanted, but only by like $50 at that point.
Mm-mm.
And I was like,
wow.
and so she reluctantly started blow drying it because I was like, fine, whatever. Can you please just finish my hair? Like, to me, that's not finished.
Right.
And so she went and she was blow drying it. And she was kind of rough when she was blow drying it because obviously she was pissed off that I wanted her to blow dry it. I don't know what salon you came from. And then I did ask, like when we're getting pretty close to the end, I was like, so like there's no color around the edge of my face. And she's like, oh, I don't know what happened. And I was like, yeah, it didn't get dyed. That's what happened. Like, it's not hard to figure out. And then I go, how long have you been in business? Like, how long have you been a hairdresser? And I mean, this was a real salon. So obviously she had a license or she'd be doing it in her basement.
Right. Right.
Like me. See, I'm not licensed.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do it in my bathroom,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I'll
Right.
do yours too. I guarantee you, you'll
Super.
still get better hairdo. I'll even blow dry this shit for free. But
Oh my god.
but anyway, she blow dried it, And then she refused to fix it. And I was like, so you want me to leave with this gray line all the way around my head? Now, I wish I'd known that it was the silver lining. But I was like, you want me to leave this? I'm going on a cruise. And she's like, well, I can fix it, but I can't fix it today. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm leaving on my cruise like Monday. Like, I need to have this done. And that was the reason I made the appointment. So it was done before I left, not like while I'm on the ship. Like, because that's going to make it really difficult for me to get here on time because I'm literally going to be in like on my way to Alaska.
Oh my gosh.
So, I was really pissed. And so I left. I did not want to pay her. And she's like, you better pay me or I'll, make sure everybody knows that you won't pay your bills. And I'm like, well, I don't know who you know that you think you knows me. Like I literally had lived here for like a year. Good fucking luck. And let me turn up the I don't give a shit meter for you.
I know.
And so I gave her like I paid her and but I refused to pay the full amount. And I said, I will pay you like, I think I said I'll pay you like $70 or something. And I'm sorry, like you didn't finish my hair. I was pissed off about it. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I think this is what I said. I'll tell you what, I'll pay you the $70 and then I'll pay you the rest when you fix it. Or after I talk to the manager that owns the store. And I called like the very next day to the owner of the store and told her what happened. And she said, oh, I already know about it. And I was like, oh, okay. So what did she tell you? She goes, oh, no, it wasn't from her. It was from everyone else in the store. And I was, or the salon. And I was like, okay, so what does that mean? Like her attitude was kind of attitudey. And she goes, oh, no, she's fired. Like, I fired her and you can come get your money.
Oh, wow.
I will reimburse you for what you did pay her.
Wow.
Because other people were working on other clients at the time. And several of them, and I guess I should have known this when it happened, because after she blow dried my hair and we talked about it, a couple other people were, because they overheard. They can't help but overhear the conversation.
Right.
So several were like, oh, come over here. Let me see how pretty it is. And I was like, okay. And they're like, so I think she got several complaints, but they called me over so they could physically see it themselves that I wasn't making it up. And so they went and complained to the owner.
Oh, wow.
Because they had the ones that were clients have been coming there for a long time. The ones that were stylists, they'd been working there for a long time, and she was brand new. And she said, yeah, I'm not going to have a new person treat my clients that way. She goes, because obviously I would like to have you as a client if you come into my salon. And she said, so you come and pick up your money. And she said, and the next time you need your hair done, you call me and I will do it for you at no charge.
Oh, wow.
And so she did make up for it completely. But it goes back to that sometimes you get what you pay for. So when it comes to you putting your 2 cents in that person's comment, and other people may be seeking that out, they might find out they're going to get what they asked for, and so I wouldn't consider you commenting on a post as unsolicited advice. She opened herself up for that advice by placing a comment that was already derogatory towards her fellow people in the same industry. I can't think of what the word is I wanted to use.
Colleagues.
Yeah. So I think she opened herself up for that. And I think I would think that would be different than this person's here. So
It is because there's more of a personal interaction on this, so there's
Right.
a relationship there. But I was just trying to touch on like the whole.
So in that case, I don't think you're necessarily like, do you go to personal people that you might work with and just tell them what's wrong with them?
Absolutely not.
I think that's more what she was
no.
saying. Like that.
Yeah, and that's kind
Yeah.
of what there's no way.
I would never. Now, if they came to me and asked,
the only way I would is if there was like, and normally my gut instinct is usually right on, but if there was some sense of like danger or
right.
just some weirdness or
Well,
some
like, okay, so I'm gonna go that route too, because depending on what your field of work is,
yeah.
you know, when I worked in law enforcement and I worked in the medical field,
Mhm.
I would probably give unsolicited advice for something
Mhm.
that might cause you danger.
Right.
Like if ADHD, I did not have ADHD when I was a cop or a medic, so it's like menopausal ADHD or
I
something.
think it is because I never used to have it either
But,
until about 2 years ago.
I mean, I was highly focused.
Mhm.
Highly focused person.
Mhm.
And if somebody had ADHD in my working environment, I might point it out in a way because I mean, if I'm telling you to get me an IV and you lose track of I've seen the videos out there, haven't
Right.
you?
Yes.
Like scrolling
yes.
and they're like, honey, you got to see this. Oh shit.
Oh
yeah,
shit! I gotta call
911.
911. Yeah, yeah. And the husband's all twisted up at the
Yeah.
bottom of the stairs.
Like
yeah,
as a medic, if
And-
I ask you to get me
yeah,
an IV bag
Yes.
because I'm putting an IV in,
Mhm.
and you know, you turn around and you start cleaning the counter,
Right,
I'm
right.
probably gonna be like, "Hey, yo, back here, ADHD, please, you need to finish getting me the IV."
Right, yes,
you know,
yes.
because my EMT often would give me the supplies I
Mhm.
need to do my job.
Mhm.
So I think it would be job related
Yeah.
as to whether or not it was for safety purposes for
Exactly.
your work.
Yes.
But if it was just a personal attack
There's
based on
no
your
way.
character flaws that
There's no
they
way.
think you have, I would never.
Mm-mm.
I would never.
There's no way.
And even in your performance, if it's performance based, you know, you're trying to say, hey, this could help us work better.
Mhm.
You can come up with things that might even be addressing those issues, but you don't give them that diagnosis. You don't say, hey, you need to write a list of what we're going to work on for the day because you have ADHD and I know you're not going to follow what we're supposed to do.
Right.
So I think there's a way of doing it without saying it in those hurtful manners.
Mhm.
And I'm not easily sensitive and I'm not easily offended, but I can be pissed off.
Mhm.
And I guess that's a form of being sensitive because if something pissed me off, then maybe I was sensitive about it, but I just don't get whoopy. I get I get into that fight mentality.
Yeah. I
Like-
wouldn't call that sensitivity though.
Yeah, I don't get that
think it's
sensitivity.
sensitive.
I don't go like,
just-
oh, they said this mean thing about
Right,
me.
right,
I
right.
know, I'm horrible. No, I go like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yes.
Like that's where I go.
Yeah.
So
Sensitive people don't care for confrontation.
no, they really don't.
And I'm extremely confrontational. And people always hear that and they're like, "Oh." And you can be confrontational.
Confrontational
and not
doesn't-
be
Isn't a bad word.
aggressive about it.
I
Like,
mean, I can be.
I can be aggressive. Like, how crazy you want me to go? Like,
you know, I
but-
can let things go quite a bit till I get to a point, and then I'm like, now my fuse starts out way out here, but then it like burns and goes out and burns and goes out. But when it gets to that end part, I'm like, "Ma!"
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
done.
that's it.
I'm done. I've had it.
Mhm.
Like, but I'm also a very effective communicator.
Mhm.
Like I communicate, and people can take me for face value because I say exactly what I mean.
Mhm.
I don't pussyfoot
Yeah,
around, and I don't
exactly.
pretend, and I don't say this but
Sugarcoat
mean
shit
this.
and
I don't
yeah.
sugarcoat shit. And if I say do this or don't do this, I actually mean it. You know, how many times I think since we've known each other have I said, I talk a lot. So if I'm talking too much, just tell me shut the fuck up and I'll just shut the fuck up.
Right. And you've established that, like, and that's a boundary. And that's also a boundary too. Like you've established that and said that's okay. I'm not going to be offended. And
You're right.
don't worry about it. Like
You d-
maybe that's your way of saying this is what I need.
Yeah,
to,
sometimes
like,
I
stay
do.
on, to stay
Yeah.
on track. So don't look at it as like it's not a bad thing.
Well,
like,
even my husband, sometimes he'll be like, you gotta go. And I'm like, I know, shut up.
right.
And then I'm late. But I try really hard not to be. I have a goal of not doing things. So I do. But I think one of the other parts about unsolicited advice is I think that people might mean it in the nice way. But I'm going to say also, do you really think that person doesn't already know their flaws?
Mm.
Do they need you to point them
Mm.
out when they are probably already know? And if they don't have a close enough relationship with you that they're sharing, hey, I talk a lot, so it's okay to say shut up. Now, I probably wouldn't share that. And I do have to say, in a professional environment where I am like doing a board meeting or something like that, I
Right.
don't.
Right.
I know my time and place. I know how to
Same.
be professional.
Same.
I know when to and
Yes.
when to shut up.
Mhm.
I know, and I have the capability. I
When
know.
to absolutely not drop an F-bomb.
I
Like-
turned the camera right to I know not to always say the F word. I know when not to. However,
Yep.
if I'm in an environment where I don't give a beep, I'm probably going to let it fly a little bit more than I should. And I mean, I think I even told you that when you got here earlier before we even came down. Then I said it again when I want to work on not saying the F word so much.
Mhm.
And it's not because I don't want to offend people out there. I really don't care if you're offended.
Mhm.
Like, I don't care, Margaret. I really don't care, Margaret. If you have a problem with me or my show or what we're talking about or what we're saying, step off. But I don't want to sound like that.
Right.
But that's my personal thing that I want to work on.
Mhm.
Just like I want to work on, and I have been working on my tone of voice, because my tone of voice, and it's really not for the other people out there in TV land or YouTube land or wherever. It's really because I don't ever want my husband to think I mean something a different way than I mean it. But really, it's for my dogs. Because my dogs do not differentiate. Like Steve and I hardly ever fight. Like rarely do we fight. But I get very passionate in my speaking about things that are happening. So I can get really animated and really loud and really get into it. And they'll think I'm yelling at him.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not yelling at Daddy. Everything's okay. Because Charlotte really wants me to have this voice all the time. Hi, Daddy. Everything's okay. And I don't
Yeah.
have that voice.
Right.
So I really want to work on it for my dogs.
Mhm.
Now, in that same sentence, my dog doesn't give a shit if I say the F word. So that one I want to work on for myself.
Right.
Right. And I listened to an interview, and I've already listened to the entire interview of JD Vance with Joe Rogan.
Mhm.
And he talks about the fact, he's like, I have a bad mouth. Like, I was raised by my grandmother, who was a very religious person, but she could swear, and it would what'd he say? She swore so bad it would make a sailor blush. And he's like, so I'm like my grandmother. I have a bad mouth. And he's like, and I'm so bad about it, my son has it. And he was
Mhm.
telling this story about how they were on an airplane, and the kids, biscotti cookie thing fell between the seats. And his son, he's like, I think he was 7. His son goes, Dad. And he hits him in the arm, and he's like, Dad. And he points down, and he's like, well, fuck. and when he was telling this story, it was also about, like, when I got on the plane, I was filthy, I was dirty, I just got done doing whatever it was he was doing. And he's like, I really hoped nobody recognized me on the plane,
Mhm.
as Senator Vance. And when his son said, well, fuck, somebody goes, well, Senator Vance, your son has a very colorful vocabulary.
Oh
And
no.
he's like, oh my God, I'm a horrible parent. So at least I don't have to worry about Charlotte running around saying the F word.
Yeah, true.
That ship has sailed. So with that, I
That's
want to
funny.
be careful. So we don't have a whole lot of time, but we're at least going to do number 2 here.
Okay.
If my mouse can scroll here, I am going to turn the scroll rate up, because it scrolls so slow that I read like I have a disability.
Oh no.
Okay. So, dear Margaret, my sister comes over and she is gay. I do not care and am not offended or disagree with their life and fully support them. But when I have an opinion, I am told I'm not allowed to have an opinion. Also, they correct my pronoun usage, and I feel pronouns are about grammar, not identity or gender. What do I do? Signed, Gender Police, Pronoun Police, Grammar Police. Well, I mean, that is a personal, I'm going to say that has to be more of a personal decision that you have to make, because it is a very touchy subject. And are you talking about, is there nothing you're allowed to say within that community, or you're not allowed to say anything outside of you want to say your opinion? Are you not allowed to say it to them or outside? I think I would need a little bit more information
Yeah.
to like give a whole thing, because are they correcting you in your own house? Because I would probably stand up and say, I'm not going to be corrected on my pronouns. And I would also say, in my own experience, quite often the actual gay or lesbian, and you said gay, but if she's your sister, she's probably lesbian. But most of the time, they're not the same people that are using pronouns so much. Like they are
Mhm.
not definitively differentiating he, she, her, he, him, they, them. They're not usually doing that, because lesbians are generally still female and they just say she,
Mhm.
her. So I think I would need more information to even give much advice on that.
Well, just to say about the correcting the pronoun usage. The only thing that comes to my head is I've used pronouns in my adult life as much as I've used fucking trigonometry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean,
though that is not something that should be a topic of any conversation.
no. Well,
Like,
and
I don't
like
feel
for
like
myself,
that's
I have a difficulty with it, because to me, pronouns are just grammar. Like, it's how we talk.
yeah.
I mean, for many, many a decade, I don't know how long it goes back, he was always referenced in a article or whatever if there was no gender identity.
Yes, exactly.
It was always a he.
It was always, yes.
There was no he/she,
Mm-mm.
so that you knew it could be a man or a
Mhm.
woman.
That's right.
It was never that way. It was just a he, and you
Mhm.
just knew it meant whomever.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And I think there's a lot of people that are way too sensitive about a subject that really has very little importance, in my opinion.
Well, it's
But again,
true.
that's my opinion. I don't like the whole pronoun thing to begin with myself. If for, let's just say you're transgender, I would just call you your name, because I don't want to be pronoun policed. So I might say Sherry, 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 Sherry 50 fucking times rather than say she if it's a he,
Mhm.
because I'm going to make a mistake.
Mhm.
And I don't want to be policed if I accidentally say he or she in the wrong way,
Mhm.
or I go by they. I don't want to, I don't have the capacity at this point in my life to try to
be
know what
breaking that
yours
shit
are and
down
what
and
yours
try
are.
to keep it straight.
And I
Yeah,
think we've gone so far beyond the line there
Yes.
that I don't introduce myself as, hi, my name's Tori. I go by she, her.
yeah.
Where did that
It's
start?
and for what purpose?
And that's just weird.
it really
you know,
is weird.
And I mean, I'm not saying anyone is weird, but doing that is weird.
Those
Doing that is
actions
strange.
and
beca-
having those expectations of others is even weirder.
right. And
Like,
I'm supposed to remember.
You're literally wanting millions of people to now change the way that they think and speak and take in information and process information. Like,
And remember it.
it doesn't
Because
fucking
everyone's
matter in the
different.
whole scheme of things. If I'm coming down an aisle in a grocery store and you're coming down in the opposite way, and I say get out of his way, but it happens to not be somebody that wants to be referred to as a his, and they turn around and start shit about it, like, does it really?
Now that's when I'm going to have
does
a
it really
bigger
matter?
problem.
But those things do occur. Like, those
Well,
situations
I've
do
been
occur, and
misgendered.
it's like, it doesn't fucking matter.
No, I've been misgendered, and I am all woman. Like, I was born woman. I've had a hysterectomy. I've bled. I've had babies. The
Right,
whole
like-
damn gamut for me. And I'm going through massive menopause now. Whatever. But I have been misgendered, and I
But
now.
so what?
it's
Did
happened-
you come unglued and be like, "How dare you call me a
No,
man?"
actually,
Like,
I think it's happened like maybe twice. And I have another add on to the end of this before we end our show. But we were like 8 minutes late, so we have 5
Oh.
minutes left. But so what I actually did is I turned around and I'm like, dude, do I really look like a man? And they go, oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't even see you at the time.
Mhm.
Now, one of those times I was in my paramedic uniform. Another one of those times I was just dressed like I do normally myself, probably in a t-shirt, baseball cap, and my jeans.
Mhm.
So from a distance, you may not be able to know or whatever.
Okay.
So no big deal. Now, I misgendered myself. That's what's so funny about that story. I misgendered myself. I was looking through some pictures from back when I was a firefighter paramedic, and I had some pictures from the fire department in our uniforms and whatever, and just doing shit at the station. And I was showing them to a friend, and I was like, who the fuck is that dude? And he goes, that's you. And I was like, you gotta be fucking, no wonder people thought okay, I get it now. Because I had been missed. I mean,
Oh,
I
funny.
cannot tell you the number of times people told me that they would accept my lifestyle choices.
Oh,
My mother, my siblings, my sisters,
that's
funny. Army guys that I worked with. And when I was like, dude, I'm not gay, they're like, you're not? So and then I misgendered myself from a photograph. Now, the only thing I can say is I had really short hair at the time. I was beefy. I mean, beefy. But I was also sitting in a chair like this with short hair,
Okay.
and it was kind of to
Okay.
the side back of me.
Okay.
So you wouldn't definitely dyke all the way. Like
Gotcha.
if you didn't know me, and I'm sorry, there's people out there that will get offended by that. What I mean by that is the body of water where water goes through and they stop water. And I think that's called a dike, isn't it?
I think so.
But I was actually referring more to the one that rhymes with bike. But
In the
I mean, I literally misgendered myself from a photograph. So I can see how people can get misgendered. And I think if we just stop with all the pissed off because you misgendered me. And now it's gotten to a point there are literally creators out there going, one in particular that goes to a restaurant, sets up a video camera,
Mhm.
and then gets service and purposely does it to get misgendered
Mhm.
just so they can do a video about I got misgendered here and then I got kicked out.
Mhm.
So I think we need to just stop with the pronoun police to begin with. You know?
Because it really doesn't matter in the long run because there's more to you as
Than
a
your
person
pronoun.
than your pronoun.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like it. It is complete hypocrisy and goes against everything that DEI is supposed to stand for.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's
absolutely.
not inclusive.
No, not at all.
It's like to be like, well, I want to be called this and
I
see,
want to
and
know
I
how to
still
write a
have the
book
whole,
based
like,
on that now.
it's grammar. Like,
How do you write a book now?
I mean, can we move to verbs instead? Theirs are more exciting.
Verbs are way more exciting.
I don't want to be a pronoun. I want to be a fucking verb.
Yeah.
Okay. Or an adjective. Yeah.
How-
Like, what the fuck?
How do we tell people what my pronoun is? Cunt. My pronoun is see you next Tuesday. I know I did see somebody out there that said my pronoun is I don't give a fuck. And I was like, okay. My pronoun is now I don't really care, Margaret.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does have to be where we look at things and we go, are we getting to an absurdity? You know, is it to the point of absurdity? Are we going so far into the weeds with something that nobody can find their way out of it?
Right.
Because, like, I mean, some people have a lot of friends in those communities, and are you supposed to remember everybody's and make sure you get them all right and don't ever mess up and don't make a mistake because now you're hated and you just
and they're gonna go do a TikTok video of them crying and how just totally devastated they are that you of all people didn't remember that you're a they, not a them.
I'm going to circle back to Joy Reid. She literally got on a camera and did a video.
Yes.
Of herself crying.
Yeah.
And I'm saving that for tomorrow, but hopefully I can make this work. But they are literally setting up cameras. And I'm wondering, are they putting the Visine in their eyes to get the teardrop?
Yes.
And I've even watched some where they literally turn their head just so that the camera angle is just perfect to see the tear just go down the face. And all I am is like, this is a fucking joke, right? Like, I now am like, I can't tell if you're doing it as a parody.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
are you doing it as a joke, or you really mean that? Like, you're getting on the camera, you're setting your camera up, and you're going to cry to your camera, and you're going to tell everybody how upset you are and how you were mistreated. Why did you get a camera out?
I know, right?
Like, that's what I want to
super
know.
authentic. It's candid. It's raw. It's
You know, like,
real.
if
No,
something
it's not.
happens and the camera was already rolling,
That's
okay,
different.
I get it.
Yes.
You know, but we
Everything
we
is
come in here and
scripted.
we sit down with a camera, and if something were to happen right now, it would be captured.
Yeah.
Because the cameras are
camera's
already
rolling.
rolling. So if you said, well, you're a big fat ugly bitch, I'd be like, well, you're a skinny little twerp, and we can go outside and we'll see which one of us wins.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, but right.
But-
Like, it's not scripted.
we don't do that. But I'm certainly not going to come down here privately with a camera and go, she said this to me, and I just want to tell everybody how much it hurt me, and I don't know how I could go on anymore. Oh, that didn't look as good. Hold on a
Hold on.
second.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do that again. Can you see the tears?
Yeah. Turn that light down and shine that one brighter.
Yeah.
Because it'll bounce off that.
Can I have a little water? So I can
Yeah.
okay, let's start again. Okay.
I'm all
So
dried
when
up.
I was at work earlier today, I mean, come on. That's what's
For sure.
happening.
That is what's happening.
And I think that was probably really annoying to anyone watching.
Yes, time's
is,
up.
is that my husband like flashing times up? Oh no, you know what I think it might be? My foot keeps touching these cables right here. And I don't know, maybe I have messed him up. Or maybe it is Steve telling us, hey, you know, your time is up. And we're literally at 1 hour and 31 minutes, so we're
Oh,
right on
good.
time.
Okay. Yeah, kind of.
We're right on time, 12 minutes late. My husband would say, well, that's pretty much
That's
typically
on time. Logan.
I think you need an outline. Time in the Marines will do that to you. Time in my service.
Time in any service. Oh.
Never late, just in Colvin time. Yeah, see, I'm never late. I'm just on Colvin time. A public post on social media is asking for replies, I'm sure. Social media is not a private space. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That's true.
I completely agree. Like he said, oh, he said, Kimberly, you said the light needed to go
Said
off.
you
Can you
needed the
turn this
light
light
off.
off? I need this lighting over here and a little bit of where's the fucking water
Where's
we
the
asked
water?
for?
Yeah.
Like what the hell?
Where's the props? Props.
props department? You need to be here on time with the. What's she doing over there? You could have gone and got the water. She's like, I got headphones on and I don't hear nothing
See,
you guys
now
are
they're-
saying.
Now they're fucking with our feelings.
No, I don't. Why do they not care what's happening? I mean, it's so fucking fake, and it makes me it. But at the same time, like
Oh
I
my
watch some
God.
of this stuff because I find it entertaining.
It is.
Now,
though.
I don't just watch them. I don't go to their channels and watch.
Right.
I go to the people I like that are making shit fun of them. And then I watch them. And Tia Rivera,
Yes.
I freaking love him. He is so funny. And he just, if you want to see somebody tell the real stuff
Yeah.
and deal with the real stuff,
Yeah.
and he's in the LGBTQ environment and that's his community, but he tells it straight. Go follow him, watch it.
Mhm.
You know, and this is one of those questions where, to be honest with you, I have my own personal feelings. I have my own personal opinion, but I kind of hate giving my personal opinion or my personal feelings to someone else that has to live in that lifestyle or has a direct. Now, I do have direct family in that world, and I know how to treat them with respect, and I would never do something to hurt them, never deliberately. But at the same time, we have to watch over that crossover. We have to watch where your rights do not continue. My rights don't end and yours continue. However, that somebody said that line. Your rights can't overlap my rights, or I don't remember.
My rights don't end where your rights begin,
Right.
or something
to that effect. And you have your rights within your little bubble, your little world, your little bubble. And if you need to have those pronoun things or whatever in your home with your family and your friends, but when you take it to the grocery store and the clerk misgenders you, get the fuck over it.
Right.
Like 99.9% of the time, I will say this: that person that goes into the restaurant, if Blair White came in and sat at the table, unless they watch her content, they would not know to say sir, because she don't look anything like a man. She 1000% looks like a woman. So probably not going to get misgendered. And Ty Rivera, I think is how he says his name. But anyway, he would say most of the time, 90% of the time, if you're being misgendered, it's probably because you look like the other gender. So they are just simply acknowledging what they see before them. So I have a difficult time giving advice to somebody. I mean, this is solicited advice versus unsolicited advice, but I have a difficult time giving even solicited advice to somebody who actually has to live in that environment. I don't know if she shares the house with her sister. I don't know if her sister is gay, but she means transgender. If she's gay, and she's transgender and she's calling herself gay. I don't know what that whole dynamics is.
Right.
And so I would hate to actually say, here, do X, because I think the reality is you have to do what's best for you and your mental health and your own environment. And if you have an opinion and you feel like you want to share your opinion and you want to stand up for yourself and your household, you have the right to do so. And I am the last person on the world that will tell you cut off your family because you don't like them not using pronouns or making you use pronouns, or you voted for this person, or I think it's get the fuck over it, your family or your friends. Don't end relationships with people over such insignificant things.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm going to, I think, end the show for today. So, with that, the last thing I'm going to do, I usually read from my little devotional, but I'm not going to today. I'm just going to, I'm going to read from this today, because this one is definitely fits the bill. It's totally okay not to give a fuck sometimes. Yeah, I really don't care, Margaret.
I really don't care.
And when people go like, oh, you'll get demonetized. I'm not monetized, so I don't really care yet. When I get to the point of being monetized, maybe I'll police myself a little better on my F word usage. Or
I don't know.
Maybe I won't care.
Maybe. Money isn't that important.
It really isn't to me either. Like
it isn't at all.
I don't.
I'd rather be able to have a voice and say things that I want to say or get out or offer than a paycheck.
I'm worrying about.
I'm honest.
Well, I mean, part of that is, it was something that was brought up. I think on Brandon Tatum's, Officer Tatum's thing today. I think it was. Oh no, it was Squirrel Tribe. If you don't follow Squirrel Tribe, do that too. But she was like, I'm pretty sure it was her. Prior to, who was the main host on The View before she left? Barbara Walters?
Yes.
Barbara Walters. When Barbara Walters was on there, Whoopi was on there. She was not lead. And they adored Trump. Whoopi adored Trump. She loved Trump. They even had him on and asked him to run for president. It wasn't until he ran as a Republican and the powers that be said, you will hate him. Orange man bad, you are going to
Yep.
do this. And that there may have been a very small moment of time where she's like, well, I like him, I don't want to do, and they're like, so we're paying you, and if
Mhm.
you want to keep having a job, you're going to say what I want. And I think she at the beginning didn't believe the shit she was saying, but I think she said so much of it and so many lies at this point that she believes the bullshit herself,
Mhm.
and which is
She's
sad.
too deeply embedded, and she
She
can't
can't drag.
she can't backpedal.
I mean, she
out of
won't
any
even
of it.
backpedal because I think now she's
Well,
fully
now I
she's
do.
fully
I
bought
believe
into it.
so,
She
too.
she fully really truly
Yes.
hates him and
Yes.
has bought into this line, hook, line, and sinker.
Yes.
But I think when she started, I think it was against her will
Mhm.
and for money.
Mhm.
And that's what whoever I was watching was talking about, that they will sell themselves. And I think it was Megyn Kelly, actually.
Okay.
She was talking about how they will sell themselves and their virtue and their value and their morals for a paycheck, and they
Mhm.
don't care. And it's one of those things. Yeah, it was, because she was talking about how Rachel Maddow went on her mad cow disease about Joy Reid getting fired,
Mm.
and how she has nothing but love and respect for her, and she's always they fucking hate each other.
Mhm.
Like, you're white and she hates you.
Mhm.
You're also gay and she hates that too.
Mhm.
And she wrote it in a whole thing. So, no, you do not have that kind of relationship. You
Mm-mm.
probably don't even talk to each other
At
ever
all.
off air.
No.
Ever. You don't have any kind of relationship. You're
No.
just going to virtue signal for her
Mhm.
because that's what you have to do.
Mhm.
And oh, it's so bad that they fired her and it's because of racism. How about, you're right, it is because of racism, because she's racist.
Mhm.
And we can't have that on our shows anymore. We
Mhm.
have to put an end to this behavior. And they have a new boss now,
Yeah.
and the new boss is coming in like Elon Musk with
Yeah.
his chainsaw and cleaning house. So I mean, there is that.
Mhm.
And you can't feel sorry for her. So she was talking about, if Megyn Kelly's show goes to a point where she actually builds the Megyn Kelly MK network or
Mhm.
something, if somebody did this that worked for her, fired. She's like, not standing up against us, not doing a news report or a news article about a topic. But if you came and you talked about my decision-making process for my company, you're fired.
Mhm.
And she should be fired, honestly, because they came in and they decided, and it was probably based on the numbers they're bringing in. I
Mm.
mean, right now, if you remember back the numbers, and I used to work for Nielsen TV ratings, so I know how that stuff
Mhm.
functions. And the views were in the millions. And now, like, their biggest contributor, which is Mad Cow, she gets about 150,000.
Wow.
And Joy
Wow.
was getting about 53 or so. So of course her numbers were so bad. Now this, back in the day, Megan was like, when I was there, like, you were doing bad if it was under 300,000. Now, and she's like, mine was like 600,000 or so.
Wow.
And this is because all these other things have taken over.
Mhm.
And everybody's watching other shit now. They aren't
Mhm.
watching regular mainstream, and their numbers are probably going down because their viewers are dying.
That too.
I mean, I'm gonna be point blank. 90% of the people that watch regular TV and regular news
yes.
channels are
They
of the
are.
boomer
They
age,
are.
and they are dying off.
Mhm. That's true.
So with them goes the newspaper and the
And
TV
the TV
channels.
channels. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
They just take the TV and put it in the grave with them and bless it and call it a day. Throw that newspaper on top too, because
Oh my gosh.
they're all
No,
dying.
That's true though.
They're all dying right with them.
They are.
Because all the new stuff is coming up and shows are getting, because people can scroll through and they
Mhm.
can find what you want to talk about. So
Yeah.
anyway, we are
All right, now
definitely
we're over.
now we're definitely over. I had to prove a point there, Steve. We are definitely
Oh, dear.
what did he say?
Okay.
Milk cloud read. Oh yeah, exactly.
Milk dud read.
Milk dud. Oh, I thought it said cloud. See, I can't even read from here. Oh, I see dud now. Okay. Anyway, we are out of here. So come and see us again tomorrow. We will be here from 7 to 8:30 ish. Preferably 8:30 and starting at 7. We are working on this. It's a new time frame, new schedule. So our plan is to stick to this schedule.
We're trying.
It's hard when you get into a really good topic and you really get going,
For sure.
and you want to just keep going.
Let's go.
But it's time to stop. Come and follow, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Good night, John Boy.
We will. Yeah. Good night, Mary Ellen. We're gonna talks about it tomorrow. See you then.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.